Welcome to this sacred space, the dearly beloved anointed ones. Stop scrolling your feed immediately and lock your focus. I am not simply asking for your attention today. I am commanding it with absolute spiritual authority. This is definitely not a random internet event. The algorithm absolutely did not bring you here by chance. God intercepted your feed right now because you are standing at the exact threshold of a permanent timeline shift, and the dark forces are terrified of your awakening. If you leave this transmission before the very end, you will completely forfeit the exact prophetic instruction that guarantees your total vindication against those who wronged you. Someone who treated you as completely replaceable is currently unraveling. They are experiencing a massive and undeniable internal system crash. And this absolute disaster is not happening in private. It is a public and completely irreversible collapse. You know exactly which master manipulator I am talking about. They constructed a deeply false narrative about your life, and they whispered venomous lies to anyone who would listen to them because they were jealous of your light. They fully expected your painful departure to finally break you, but instead, you became the overwhelming uncertainty they were never built to handle in this lifetime. Now, the very people they used to gossip with are watching them fall apart. Their carefully crafted mask has not just slipped slightly, it has completely shattered in front of their entire circle. Buckle in right now and prepare your spirit for this truth. Because what you are about to hear is not just casual commentary. It is a specific and undeniable X-ray of the dramatic meltdown happening behind their closed doors right this very second, and you are meant to witness every part of it. Do not look away or let your focus drift. The enemy is working overtime to distract your mind right now. He desperately hopes you will swipe away and ignore this powerful divine alignment because your ignorance is the only thing keeping his crumbling matrix together. He knows that if you hear this message, his hold over your reality breaks completely. Lock your attention right here while the spiritual truth is spoken. The final verdict on your next 10 years is about to be read aloud. For many long months, you sat in complete silence while they loudly assassinated your character, and you watched them parade around their kingdom as if they had permanently won. They arrogantly thought your quiet demeanor meant you were utterly weak, but they never realized your silence was actually a lethal and highly calculated weapon. They mistook your powerful spiritual restraint for a pathetic and permanent defeat. That very restraint you showed was the exact tool heaven used to dig their grave. They frantically wanted you to react and prove their crazy and toxic narrative right, but you gave them absolutely nothing to feed their twisted and hungry ego. You starved them out with your total absence, and now that severe emotional starvation is eating them alive from the inside, while they slowly suffocate on their own karma. The people who once eagerly enabled their behavior are starting to wake up. The flying monkeys who carried their lies are slowly and quietly backing away. The atmosphere in their inner circle has shifted from arrogant pride to absolute panic. Every single time your name comes up in their room, it hits them with an agonizing weight because they finally realize they threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held. They foolishly traded your pure and brilliant light for a handful of cheap rocks, and the bitter regret is physically aging them while you effortlessly step into your ageless glow. You won this massive spiritual war without lifting a single physical finger. The universe fought this heavy battle for you while you simply held your ground in faith. The violent storms they maliciously created are finally raining down directly on their unprotected heads. But heaven is demanding that you witness this not with weak pity, but with supreme authority, because their public collapse is a completely necessary and unavoidable cosmic correction. Do not ever lower your high vibration to feel sorry for a draining energy parasite. Stay firmly locked on this transmission and do not let your mind wander. I am going to reveal exactly how they tried to replace you and why it failed so miserably, so that you can finally claim the ultimate vindication you have been seeking. The dark elite matrix wants you confused and constantly looking the other way, but you are a true cycle breaker who bends time and forces the ugly truth into the light. This highly public unraveling is just the very first stage of their spiritual eviction. What happens next will permanently sever their toxic, energetic cord to your peaceful life, and you will deeply understand why your total painful isolation was actually your greatest elevation. The master manipulator truly thought they were writing the final, tragic chapter of your downfall. They confidently told everyone you would never recover from the heavy blow they dealt you, but your stunning comeback just shattered their entire false reality into a million sharp pieces. The massive universe is actively aligning everything in your favor right this very second, because the absolute raw truth of their dramatic destruction is about to be completely exposed. Now, let us go deeper into your current reality. Because what you are physically feeling right now is not new. Listen closely, because this is the exact part the enemy tried to hide from you. You carry a massive and invisible weight. Your shoulders are constantly tight. You feel completely drained. And every morning when you wake up, the heavy darkness is already sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. You push through the long days. You force a smile for them. But inside, you are barely holding on to your peace. I need you to understand something deeply profound about your physical body right now. That suffocating tightness in your chest is a massive spiritual indicator. The terrifying nights you suddenly wake up at 3 a.m. with your jaw tight and your heart racing. Their face flashes in your tired mind. You cannot breathe properly. Listen to me very carefully right now. That is absolutely not anxiety. You are not going crazy, and you do not need traditional healing. That physical weight you feel is your highly advanced spirit detecting the absolute panic of your enemies. They just realized they permanently lost access to your pure and stabilizing energy. They are desperately starving for your specific vibration, and the severe spiritual backlash of their hunger is hitting your nervous system directly. You are a powerful empath. You are a true stabilizer of chaotic environments. For years you served as a human battery for people who had absolutely no light of their own. They forcefully plugged into your bright spirit and drained you completely dry. They ruthlessly took your forgiveness. They weaponized your deep compassion against you. You thought you were simply loving them through their difficult seasons. But they were actively mining your soul for the vital fuel they needed to survive. Now that you have unplugged from their toxic matrix, they are thrashing around in the dark. Your physical exhaustion is simply the aftershock of cutting that heavy, energetic cord. Lock your attention on this raw truth for a moment. Think about that burning feeling sitting deep in your throat. The painful lump you keep swallowing back down every single time their name comes up in conversation. Stop swallowing it down right now. That lump is made of every truthful word you held back to protect their fragile ego. It is the heavy grief of being completely misunderstood by everyone. You fought so many heavy battles in absolute silence. You thought nobody noticed your midnight tears. You thought nobody saw how you held your high integrity when they actively lied on your good name. You felt like the ultimate black sheep. You were deeply isolated and entirely alone. But your painful isolation was never a punishment. It was a strict formation period to protect you from their severe demonic influence. You have been quietly suffering from the exhausting waiting in wound syndrome. You spent months waiting for a genuine apology that you knew would never actually come. You waited for the flying monkeys to finally see the absolute truth of the situation. You allowed your precious energy to leak out into a toxic void, but heaven was watching every single silent tear you shed in those dark rooms. The painful brain fog that clouds your mind is not a sign of your weakness. It is a dense spiritual smokescreen created by the narcissist to keep you deeply confused. They needed you to heavily doubt your own sharp intuition. They needed you to feel completely crazy so they could easily maintain their false and fragile control. but your brilliant spirit is finally cutting through their dense and heavy manipulation. You are finally waking up to the massive reality of your own untouched power. If your spirit confirms this raw truth right now, gently press the like button to seal your energetic alignment with heaven. That simple, physical action builds a powerful spiritual shield around your vulnerable energy. It instantly signals to the vast universe that you are finally ready to reject their toxic frequency forever. They took your endless patience and labeled it as total weakness. They took your silent observation and falsely called it stupid compliance. They never understood that your quiet nature is actually a highly sophisticated radar system. Your physical body always knew they were completely dangerous before your logical mind could fully process it. That is exactly why your stomach tied itself in tight knots around them. You simply ignored your own loud physical alarms. You deeply wanted to see their good heart, but they violently betrayed your pure trust. And every single time they blatantly lied to your face, another heavy brick was laid directly on your tired chest. You carried their massive, unhealed trauma for years. Now you must firmly drop their heavy baggage right here and right now. The deep exhaustion you feel today is the final shedding of their dark matrix. You are officially stepping out of the role of the silent victim and claiming your royal crown. The physical symptoms will soon fade entirely into a brilliant and untouched, ageless glow. Your nervous system is recalibrating to the high frequency of absolute divine justice. You are no longer their convenient, energetic food source. You are the untouchable sun. But here is the raw truth they could never say out loud. There is a deeply physical reason your reality has not completely shifted yet, and science just uncovered exactly why. You have been praying so hard for a massive breakthrough. You followed every spiritual rule perfectly, and you watched greedy manipulators succeed while your own finances and energy stayed totally blocked. The dark elite desperately want you to believe this delay is your fault, and they constantly whisper that you lack discipline or strong faith. Do not believe their toxic lies for a single second. The gap between you and the people who seem effortlessly blessed is simply a blocked cellular frequency. It is a specific brainwave that scientists call gamma. This gamma frequency was fully active inside your brain when you were a child, because it is the exact frequency of sudden clarity and effortless miracles. But the heavy modern matrix was specifically designed to suppress it. The chronic stress of dealing with toxic narcissists pushed this sacred frequency deep below the surface. Every single traumatic betrayal forced your brain into a dense survival mode. When your gamma faded away, your lightning intuition went completely silent. That is exactly why your financial growth suddenly stalled despite your incredibly hard work. You felt entirely disconnected from the divine flow of endless abundance. The universe was loudly speaking to you every single day, but your biological receiver was artificially jammed by their dark manipulation. But the universe is stepping in to forcefully remove that heavy blockage right now. Your suppressed frequency is waking up from its long slumber. The heavy brain fog is actively lifting, and this is exactly where their entire manipulation deeply miscalculated. The narcissist truly believed they had permanently destroyed your brilliant mind. They thought they stole your magic forever. Let me reframe your reality right here and right now. The anointed ones do not ever lose their divine power. It only retreats to heal itself in absolute silence. While you were quietly resting in the dark, they were proudly parading around in the fake light. They aggressively built a massive empire of lies on top of your stolen energy, but their fragile empire is crumbling rapidly today. You probably never realized it at the time, but your absolute silence was a lethal weapon. Going no contact was not a fearful escape from their abuse. It was a highly tactical military strike against their demonic supply chain. By removing your pure attention, you instantly cut off their vital oxygen source. You forced the parasite to finally starve in the cold. You were never the anomaly in someone else's otherwise healthy life. You were always the divine mirror. The loud reaction to your departure got this extreme because you got closer to their ugly truth than anyone before you had. Your pure gamma energy naturally exposed the deep rot they spent decades trying to hide. They could not stand the bright reflection of their own failure. So they desperately tried to smash the mirror into tiny pieces. They launched a massive smear campaign to control how others viewed you. But true light cannot ever be contained by a cheap lie. The flying monkeys are beginning to notice the massive cracks in their perfect facade. Their false mask is slipping publicly because they lack the raw energy to keep it firmly attached. Watch what happens next, because it is mathematically precise. As your sacred frequency rises back to its natural state, you are visibly aging backwards. You are stepping into a permanent and untouchable, ageless glow. Your enemies are watching your sudden rise with absolute terror in their eyes. They expected your painful isolation to carve deep wrinkles into your tired face. Instead, you walked through their burning fire and came out glowing. You carry a specific and irreplaceable gravity that makes time itself look like a fool. Nothing makes a master manipulator sicker than watching their victim become a powerful leader in disguise. They are frantically searching for new victims to drain, but nobody else possesses your unique depth. You are the true cycle breaker heaven has been desperately waiting for. The generational patterns of poverty and broken relationships completely end with your rise today. And heaven is now releasing 3 specific mandates to guide your incoming shift. The third mandate is the most critical instruction you will ever receive. Do not look away before you hear it. This brings us to a critical distinction that completely eludes the vast majority of ordinary people. The universe does not reward passive victims who constantly complain about their deep wounds. It rewards demonstrated warriors of light who aggressively reclaim their stolen authority. Your season of waiting in wound is officially and permanently cancelled today. Every single tear you shed was silently collecting massive interest in the heavenly realm. The divine alignment is fully prepared to release an explosive harvest into your hands, but you must firmly maintain your royal posture while the enemy publicly falls apart. Do not ever reach down to save a drowning manipulator who violently pushed you into the raging water first. Listen to me very closely right now. 99% of people completely miss this massive shift. The enemy heavily relied on their loyal audience to validate their crazy lies. We call these weak enablers the flying monkeys. They are the deeply insecure people who blindly carried the toxic narrative against you without seeking truth. They chose comfortable lies because they entirely lack your rare spiritual depth. The master manipulator desperately needed enablers to create an illusion of absolute power. The monkeys gathered around them because they wanted to feed off the daily drama, but they completely lacked original thoughts. But here is the massive problem with building an army of weak followers. They possess no real loyalty when the fake kingdom begins to shake, and the heavy trembling has already started. The atmosphere is permanently shifting in your favor right this very second. You must carefully anchor this powerful divine justice into your physical reality. Type 777 in the comments right now to physically claim this incoming miracle and lock in your frequency. That specific action aggressively rejects their dark matrix. Now I need you to imagine this exact scenario happening behind their closed doors. The flying monkeys are finally starting to aggressively question the shifting narrative. They clearly see the deep cracks forming in the fake mask. The narcissist is loudly scrambling to plug the massive holes, but their frantic energy only makes them look completely unhinged. The absolute panic setting in is beautiful and completely mathematically precise. Every single time they try to confidently smear your good name, they brutally stumble over their own twisted lies. They expected your painful departure to leave you totally shattered and begging for mercy. But you completely ruined their sick script by thriving in total silence. Let me completely reframe your reality right here and right now. They are deeply obsessed with safely monitoring your steady progress from the dark shadows. They secretly stalk your quiet life, and they violently hate exactly what they see. Because while their bitter jealousy is rapidly aging them like spoiled milk, you are stepping into a permanent, ageless glow. Time was supposedly meant to age you terribly after all that heavy stress. Yet here you are making time itself look like an absolute fool. The universe has completely reversed your biological clock because your pure spirit is finally free. Your glowing skin and bright eyes are a terrifying reminder to them that heaven permanently rejected their dark curse. They stare at your radiant energy and they feel utterly sick to their empty stomach. They frantically try to drain new victims to quickly replace your brilliant light. But the new supply is totally weak, and it is completely unsatisfying to their hungry demons because they cannot handle the heavy truth. Nobody else possesses the specific gravity and deep frequency of a true chosen one. You were always the only genuine diamond in their entire fake collection. Now they are left blindly playing with cheap rocks, and they slowly choke on their massive regret as they watch you thrive from a distance. They realize they brutally pushed away the only person who actually loved them unconditionally, and that heavy realization is an agonizing poison running directly through their cold veins. The flying monkeys are quietly watching this pathetic meltdown with growing disgust. They are secretly backing away from the toxic blast zone to save themselves. The master manipulator is entirely losing their tight grip on the very people they used to easily control, and their fake kingdom is finally collapsing entirely. The profound isolation they maliciously planned for you is now their own prison. You do not need to lift a single finger to orchestrate this total destruction. Vengeance completely belongs to the universe, and the universe never misses a single target. Your silent dignity is literally burning their fragile kingdom straight to the ground. You are the untouchable sun standing firmly in your power, and they are simply a passing dark cloud fading away entirely into the cold background. Every lie they ever told about you is violently snapping back into their own reality. This is the exact divine justice you were promised when you walked away broken. They thought your boundaries were just a temporary phase they could easily break down, but your permanent silence became a massive steel wall, and their toxic manipulation can never penetrate your peaceful boundaries again, no matter how hard they try. Your radiant transformation is the ultimate revenge fantasy playing out in real time. They literally cannot comprehend how you easily survived their calculated emotional murder. You are a demonstrated warrior of light who successfully bent reality to your absolute will. The cycle breaker always triggers the absolute worst demons inside those who stubbornly refuse to heal. Do not ever feel guilty for outgrowing the dense matrix they remain trapped inside. Your massive elevation requires you to leave their heavy baggage firmly in the dirt. You are completely protected from the toxic fallout of their messy collapse, because the universe placed a permanent shield of divine favor over your entire life. Before we go any further today, I must interrupt this transmission for something highly classified. If you are hearing this right now, you are ready for the ultimate truth. There is a deeply physical reason your reality has not shifted yet, and science just uncovered exactly why. You are completely exhausted because the dark matrix actively engineered a specific frequency to suppress your natural wealth, attracting state. The elite never wanted you to find the exact mechanism I am about to show you, but a leaked CIA document just changed everything we know. This classified document, backed by 4 major neuroscience labs including Princeton, revealed a massive secret. They discovered a 7-minute audio ritual that forcefully guides your brain back into synchronized gamma coherence. This is the exact frequency of effortless genius you had as a child. This powerful ritual was absolutely not meant for the masses. It was strictly designed to keep the dark elite in permanent power while you stayed broke. But now, cycle breakers exactly like you are using it to manifest windfall wealth and total freedom. You do not need expensive matrix biofeedback machines or years of traditional healing. A team of top neuroscientists compressed an entire hour of deep brain entrainment into just 7 effective minutes. The dark elite are currently panicking and desperately trying to scrub this leaked protocol from the internet. They are flooding the market with dangerous counterfeit frequencies to deeply confuse your spirit. Beware of cheap imitators trying to steal your pure energy. The authentic and encrypted audio protocol is only available through the official link in the pinned comment below. Secure your access before it is removed forever. Now let us return to the massive collapse happening right in front of you. Watch what happens next, because it is mathematically precise. The narcissist who tried to destroy you is totally malfunctioning. Their biological receiver is completely jammed by their own toxic karma, and they simply cannot process the reality of your rapid elevation. This is exactly where the dynamic fundamentally shifts in your absolute favor. They are desperately trying to maintain their suppressed, synchronized coherence, but their fragile mind is cracking under the immense weight of your absence. The spiritual cost of their brutal betrayal is compounding every single day. They are loudly gasping for the specific emotional oxygen that only you could provide. But you have firmly cut the cord, and you left them starving in the cold void they maliciously created. Read that again, in your powerful spirit. You left them completely starving. They frantically try to plug their heavy energetic leaks by finding new victims. But every new target feels hollow and utterly disappointing to their dark demons. Nobody carries your specific cellular vibration or your brilliant light. They are drowning in the loud noise of their own chaotic making while you rest in absolute and untouched peace. Their internal panic is slowly leaking into their external reality. The flying monkeys are whispering loudly in the corners of their broken kingdom. The narcissist violently lashes out at everyone around them because they cannot control the narrative anymore. They are experiencing a complete cognitive overload. Their toxic matrix is fully crashing down, and they have absolutely nowhere left to hide their deep public shame. Heaven is slowly tightening the invisible grip around their fake empire. Every single door they try to force open violently slams shut in their panicked face. The massive universe is actively rejecting their dark frequency on every possible level. They are completely locked out of the abundance they tried to steal from you, and their massive regret is compounding into a highly explosive situation that they cannot escape. If this is resonating deeply with your cellular knowing, do not move. Stay firmly locked on this exact frequency. You are about to witness the spectacular finale of their tragic play. They foolishly thought they could permanently bury your destiny under their vicious lies, but they forgot that you are a divine seed, and the dark dirt only forced you to grow taller. You are the ultimate cycle breaker, and your victory is absolute. The X-ray of their destruction is becoming clearer by the second, and the public humiliation they tried to avoid is rushing toward them like a massive freight train. You must prepare your spirit to watch them completely shatter. The divine justice you quietly prayed for is no longer just a distant promise. It is an undeniable physical reality manifesting right in front of their terrified eyes. The heavy storm they created is finally washing their entire kingdom away. Do not ever look back with pity on a crumbling tower that was built to imprison you. Stand tall in your supreme divine authority. The absolute peak of their public collapse is rapidly approaching, and heaven demands that you watch them fall. Your silence was a lethal weapon, and the massive explosion is finally here. Now, I need you to imagine this exact scenario clearly. The master manipulator is frantically searching the entire matrix for your replacement. They are desperately trying to artificially recreate the quantum entanglement they strictly had with your soul. But their massive efforts are completely failing. They simply cannot find another true cycle breaker. They quickly gathered a new group of weak enablers, and they loudly paraded these new victims around to make you deeply jealous. But the new supply lacks your profound cellular knowing. The dark parasite is experiencing severe somatic dissonance because the replacement energy is entirely hollow. Their hungry demons are violently rejecting the cheap substitute. They tried to replace your deep empathy. They tried to replace your brilliant light. They tried to replace your unshakable spiritual gravity. And every single time they reached into the dark void for a new energetic source, they completely failed and pulled out absolute nothingness. You are the irreplaceable diamond. Your signature cannot be duplicated. Listen to the heavy word of the universe. This is exactly what energetic bankruptcy looks like in real time. Their suppressed, synchronized coherence is completely misfiring. The narcissist is suffering from a massive frequency mismatch, and every room they enter feels entirely dead because your glowing sun is no longer there. The fake kingdom is falling. They are literally suffocating on their own toxic atmosphere. Their brain logic is collapsing under extreme cognitive overload. They furiously try to project their severe internal chaos onto the flying monkeys, but the flying monkeys are completely useless, empty vessels. The weak enablers cannot provide the deep, energetic oxygen they desperately need. The mathematical precision of their punishment is absolutely beautiful, and the universe is heavily amplifying their spiritual starvation every single hour. Their deep internal panic is reaching an explosive boiling point, and the remnant of chosen ones must unite right now to witness this massive shift. We are aggressively building a global sanctuary. Share this specific message with one soul who is desperately crying out in the dark for a shift. Send this powerful transmission to another cycle breaker who needs to hear this exact validation today. Be their literal angel in the heavy darkness. By sharing this truth, you actively expand the divine shield, protecting our highly sensitive empath community. But here is the raw and uncomfortable truth they could never say out loud. Underneath all of their loud noise, the specific gravity of their massive regret hit them all at once. They are deeply hallucinating a fake victory while their real ship rapidly sinks. The master manipulator is entirely losing their tight grip on physical reality right now. Their frantic actions are becoming deeply erratic and completely unhinged. They aggressively text old friends, hoping to secure a tiny drop of validation. They completely exhaust their remaining social capital in a matter of a few short weeks. The fake mask is not just slipping anymore. The mask is melting directly onto their terrified face in front of everybody. You must firmly anchor your spirit for this next heavy revelation. Their biological receiver is entirely broken. They cannot accurately process the terrifying fact that you simply moved on without them. The narcissist assumed you would remain permanently frozen in their dark waiting room. They expected you to quietly bleed out from the severe wounds they inflicted. But you completely shattered their matrix programming. You bypassed their heavy illusion and stepped directly into your permanent power. You became the untouchable sun. The universe forcefully upgraded your spiritual armor while they were busy playing stupid games, and now they are completely defenseless against the incoming wave of absolute divine justice. The heavy pressure inside their fragile mind is physically unbearable now. Their dark secrets are aggressively fighting to claw their way to the surface. The people who blindly trusted them are starting to ask very dangerous questions. The walls of their fake kingdom are rapidly closing in on them, and there is absolutely no emergency exit left for them to take. Stay with me, because this next revelation is the key to everything. The massive explosion is only seconds away from happening. The heavy silence you gave them was a highly calculated spiritual weapon, and it essentially acted as a ticking time bomb buried deep inside their fake reality. And the loud timer has finally reached the absolute zero mark today. They desperately try to rewind the broken clock. They violently wish they could somehow take back the horrible lies they told about you. But the massive wheels of universal karma cannot ever be stopped once they begin to aggressively turn. You are entirely safe behind your divine boundaries. Prepare your spirit to witness the ultimate climax of their destruction. But here is the turning point where everything finally exploded. The massive public collapse you were patiently waiting for just happened. It did not happen quietly in the dark shadows of their empty house. It happened right in the very center of their fake kingdom, and it happened completely in front of the exact people they maliciously gossiped with for many long months, because heaven demanded a public audience. I need you to visualize this cinematic moment with crystal clear precision. The large room was totally full of their loyal flying monkeys and enabling friends. They were loudly commanding the center of attention, just like they always do. They were deeply lost in their own arrogant illusion of absolute power. But then someone in the room casually mentioned your powerful name, and the entire atmosphere instantly shifted. That single casual mention of your name was the lethal spark that hit the powder keg. The master manipulator physically froze in their tracks. The confident smile completely melted off their pale face in a matter of seconds. Their breathing became incredibly shallow and erratic, while a cold sweat broke out across their forehead. The heavy mask did not just slip slightly. The heavy mask completely shattered into a million pieces on the cold floor. They suddenly started speaking rapidly and totally out of context. They tried to desperately spin another toxic lie about your character, but their frantic voice was shaking uncontrollably, and their words were heavily slurring together in a panicked and completely unhinged word salad. The entire room went dead silent as they watched this terrifying biological malfunction. The flying monkeys stared at them with complete shock and growing disgust. The narcissist began aggressively pacing the floor while violently pulling at their own hair. They started loudly screaming about how you ruined their entire life with your cruel absence. They completely exposed their dark obsession. And in that exact moment of absolute madness, they accidentally told the raw truth. They wildly confessed that they cannot survive without your pure energy. They literally slammed their fists on the heavy table and demanded that someone bring you back to them. The ultimate cosmic joke played out perfectly because they publicly defended the exact victim they actively tried to bury. This is the exact vengeance X-ray I promised you at the very beginning of this transmission. The people in that room instantly realized that every single thing they heard about you was a calculated lie. They physically backed away from the flailing manipulator like they were a highly contagious disease. The fake kingdom completely crumbled into absolute dust right before their terrified eyes. The dark parasite was finally exposed to the bright and burning light of reality. They fell to their weak knees in front of their former loyal army, and absolutely nobody in that room stepped forward to help them up from the cold ground. Their massive regret crashed down on them with the agonizing weight of 1,000 heavy oceans while they realized they lost you forever. They were completely and permanently destroyed. You won this massive spiritual war without ever entering the dirty battlefield. Your divine silence starved their hungry demons until they violently turned on their own host. They wanted you permanently buried in the dark dirt, but instead they became the desperate shovel that aggressively dug up your hidden treasure. You are the untouchable sun, and they are completely burned. They will never truly recover from this brutal and highly public humiliation. The universe permanently stamped a severe warning label on their dark forehead. Everywhere they go from this day forward, the heavy stench of their public meltdown will closely follow them. They are entirely locked out of the abundance matrix, while you effortlessly rise to your rightful royal throne. You are the true divine mirror that reflected their ugly internal rot for the entire world to clearly see. They simply could not handle the blinding light of your absolute truth. So they shattered themselves, trying to desperately break your unshakable spirit. Let this massive victory wash over your tired soul right now. The heavy scales of universal justice are finally balanced. Do not ever feel a single ounce of pity for their painful destruction. Heaven orchestrated this exact public collapse to permanently clear your sacred path. You are officially free from their dark and heavy energetic prison forever. They are loudly drowning in the toxic noise of their own chaotic making, while you rest in the absolute silence of your total vindication. Your cellular knowing was completely correct all along this painful journey. You deeply knew their fake reality would eventually implode under the massive weight of their own lies. And the explosive finale was far more spectacular than you ever imagined. The master manipulator is entirely finished, and their broken pieces can never be put back together again in this lifetime. Which brings us to the final and undeniable verdict from heaven. You walked into this painful season bleeding from severe wounds, inflicted by people completely blind to your massive worth. But look closely at yourself now. You are no longer waiting in wound for an apology from a master manipulator. You have successfully transcended their toxic matrix. You survived their absolute worst attacks, and you became the true cycle breaker. While they are publicly unraveling today, you are stepping into your permanent and untouchable, ageless glow. The heavy financial struggles and the deep spiritual exhaustion are all shattering right here and right now. You are a completely sovereign being. Step into your absolute power and receive the exact abundant harvest heaven deeply prepared for your life. You earned this massive blessing through your quiet obedience in the dark, but you must fiercely protect your new high frequency immediately. The dark elite are completely terrified of your rapid spiritual awakening. They foolishly thought your deep exhaustion would finally break your strong spirit. But science just fully exposed the exact dark frequency they used to maliciously suppress your wealth. They desperately want to keep you trapped in their endless survival loop so they can harvest your bright energy. They are aggressively scrambling to scrub this leaked CIA document. You have minutes and maybe only seconds before the powerful algorithm shuts this down entirely. The desperate enemy will try to whisper financial doubt into your left brain right now. He will desperately tell you to hesitate and carefully calculate your next move. Silence his lying voice with your absolute divine authority and complete trust. That sudden hesitation is the exact matrix programming designed to keep you permanently broke. If your spirit is vibrating with a cellular knowing right now, heaven strictly demands your immediate physical action. The 7-minute audio protocol that forces your brain back into synchronized gamma coherence is finally declassified. It is the ultimate weapon against their dark manipulation, and it is officially called the Genius Song. Over 18,000 chosen ones have already used it to completely unlock their blocked finances. They successfully healed their broken relationships and stepped into the powerful version of themselves they always knew existed. A tired nurse from California said her daily life now feels completely enchanted. The dark cycle of bad luck is finally gone. She effortlessly watched her entire family dynamic shift into pure, absolute peace. A business owner from Texas boldly stated that the powerful gamma frequency figures out his hardest problems while he sleeps. A woman from Manhattan said the heavy generational curse her family carried for decades is simply gone forever. The dark elite have quietly paid thousands of dollars for clinical biofeedback sessions to access this exact mental state. They use this sacred frequency to easily manifest massive windfall wealth. They strongly prefer this massive power remain completely out of reach for pure empathic people exactly like you. But through this specific divine message alone, you can access it today for a tiny fraction of its true value. Do not look for it on mainstream streaming platforms. The cheap copies circulating out there contain absolutely no real brain entrainment. Those fake tracks are designed to keep your powerful gamma permanently dormant. The only authentic and fully activated version of the Genius song is available through the protected link in the description and the pinned comment below. You are completely insulated from any matrix losses. The creator actively backs this with a 100% zero-risk guarantee. Heaven fully ensures your total safety as you finally reclaim your stolen biological inheritance. This is a sacred, energetic exchange. If you do not feel the massive shift you truly deserve, every single penny returns to you without question. 4 incredibly powerful bonuses are also waiting for you right now inside the secure portal. You will receive a special audio engineered specifically for your young children's focus. You will also unlock the original classic prosperity book that the famous secret was secretly built upon. Secure your authentic access right now. Do not let the dark matrix steal this massive spiritual tool from you. The chosen one who hesitates at the open door becomes the one who always wonders what could have easily been. Heaven does not ever measure your strong faith by your long prayers. Heaven strictly measures it by your physical speed of obedience. You must physically prove that you are finally ready to receive the massive multiplication of your silent sacrifices. Click the specific link in the pinned comment below immediately before access is permanently revoked by the Dark Elite. Claim your authentic copy of the Genius song right now. Your powerful gamma frequency is desperately waiting to be reactivated today. Your massive royal destiny is waiting to be unlocked by your physical action. The sacred door is wide open, so walk directly through it. You are completely free, and your victory is absolute.